Atlantic hurricane season officially opens in less than a week, and there's plenty of preseason information to pass along on a variety of topics. This is National Hurricane Preparedness Week, and the focus this year is to stress that the hazards from tropical systems come in many forms: storm surge, high winds, tornadoes, and flooding. And with the exception of surge, these are not limited to coastal areas. This year, the National Hurricane Center has made a big change to its system of watches and warnings. Because of improvements in forecasting, tropical storm and hurricane watches and warnings will be issued 12 hours earlier than in the past. Watches will now be issued 48 hours in advance of when tropical storm or hurricane conditions are possible. That used to be 36 hours. Warnings will be issued when those conditions are expected within 36 hours. That used to be 24 hours. On a different topic, there's been a lot of talk about how any tropical systems might interact with the oil spill in the Gulf. For example, tropical cyclones feed off warm water. So could the coating of oil choke that off? Probably not, mainly because the slick, at least right now, is small compared to the size of most tropical cyclones. The slick would have to get a lot bigger and more concentrated to greatly affect the transfer of energy from water to air, and then only if the storm was organizing right over the slick. An existing storm would probably be unaffected by passing over the slick, mainly because the winds would churn the seas, mixing water from below to the surface. And that might be the biggest issue. A hurricane could bring more oil up from the depths of the Gulf, making more available to be pushed ashore. As for how active the hurricane season might be, well, two factors favor a pretty busy season. First, the El Niño that was present during winter is fading fast, and historically when that happens, the Atlantic hurricane season that follows has been above average in activity. The second factor involves water temperatures in the tropical Atlantic. Now here's the departure from average right now. The yellows and oranges are warmer than average, with the deepest orange on the order of 4 degrees or so above. The water in nearly the entire zone from the open Atlantic westward into the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico is warmer than average, and in particular, the tropical Atlantic is way above average. Now, we routinely track the average water temperature in this box where many tropical systems form. That measure is called the Tropical North Atlantic Index, TNA for short. Now, here's a graph of that index going back to 1981. The zero line represents average. Anywhere in red means that waters were warmer than average. Blue is colder than average. And the current warm anomaly is way above anything we've seen in the last 30 years. Now, this may not last through the hurricane season, and water temperatures are not the do-all and end-all when it comes to hurricanes. But all else being equal, water temperature can be an inhibiting, or in this case, supportive factor for individual storms and for the season as a whole. Paul Knight is back with the extended forecast next.